Yo, what's going on, guys? Joey Sugarbuck is back here with another video for you guys. Today, guys, this is part 3 of NFL questions from followers/subscribers. We got about, I think, 6 or 7 today, so let's jump right on into it. First question comes from JKP Weather on Twitter. Sent me a tweet, says, what team will have the worst record this season? Worst record this season, and what team? So I've been thinking about this for a couple days, and I think the most clear answer here is the Jaguars. They're going to be the worst team, and they're going to have the worst record. Jaguars. Why? Because they're in full rebuild mode. Lost Calais Campbell. Their offense is, I guess, decent. Leonard Fournette, DJ Chark. Their offense is not bad, but they have no quarterback besides Gardner Minshew, but he's not anything special. Okay, he'll get the job done, but he needs a really good supporting cast if that's going to happen, and I don't see it happening. The Jaguars, I think, technically do still have Yannick Ngakoue, but I don't know what's going to happen with him. And to be honest, even if he doesn't sign with another team or gets traded, I don't think he's going to play. He's probably going to hold out. So I'm going to assume that Ngakoue is not going to play on the Jaguars at least. Their defense is not good anymore. It used to be. But let's see. Josh Allen, the rookie pass rusher, is pretty good. But again, lost Calais Campbell to Baltimore. And let's see. Secondary, of course, they lost Jalen Ramsey. Lost A.J. Boye, too. So they don't really have anyone. I guess Miles Jack, I think, is still there. But I think he was hurt last year. Telvin Smith got, arrested. So he's not playing. So the Jaguars' defense is totally screwed, and their offense is meh. So I'm going to say that the Jaguars will have the worst record this year in terms of what I'm thinking for their record. Probably a 3-13, 4-12 team. The Jaguars are going to be pretty awful this year. Next question comes from Christian. Sent me another tweet on Twitter asking who will be the Super Bowl champion in 2020/2021. So I've been thinking about this again. So we'll start with what I think will be the matchup. Again, this can change, but I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm feeling the Packers. Why? Because it's another, I know, so I think I mentioned this in my last video. So, of course, the Packers drafted Jordan Love, kind of like a shock and a wake-up call to Aaron Rodgers. And some people say, oh, he's going to pop up. He's like, okay, I need to step up now. I need to step up or else I'm going to get demoted. But I'm not exactly a believer in that. But another reason that makes me think that Aaron Rodgers will have a pretty good year is because it's another year in Matt LaFleur's system. Last year, Rodgers himself wasn't that good. I kind of think he got carried by the defense. But LaFleur is a solid coach, and it's just again another year in his system. They'll get used to each other more, used to the play calling, and LaFleur in general, they should be able to click more. So that's why I feel a rather big year for Aaron Rodgers. And their defense is pretty good, especially their defensive lines. Zadarius Smith coming off an insane year. Kenny Clark. I think I mentioned this in my last video. Their secondary is not great, but as long as they get a good enough pass rush, I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. And their offense is good. They have Devontae Adams. I'm pretty sure they did lose Geronimo Allison, but they got, I think, Christian Kirksey on defense. But for offensive line is good if it can stay healthy. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure they lost Brian Bulaga. I think Corey Linsley is still there. And again, David Bakhtiari is there. He's really good, but he has been battling injury issues. Aaron Jones, again, continues to improve. And yeah, the receiving core is decent. Besides Devontae Adams, they have Alan Lazard. And again, Allison is gone. So I think those are their main. And who is it? Kumaro, I think, who can't really catch. But regardless, the receivers are solid. Of course, Devontae Adams is very good, but he's kind of the only insane receiver that they have. But good enough. And I think that as long as their defense is as good as it was last year, I think that the Packers will be just fine. So, I should say more than just fine. So, I think that they will make a deep playoff run. Only thing that concerns me is the Vikings in that division. We'll see how that all plays out. But another team for when it comes to the AFC, I don't know, guys. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see any reason why Kansas City won't do it again. Why? Because New England, the threat is eliminated, I think, at least for this year. I mean, Jarrett Stidham, again, needs at least a couple years to really get used to the system in New England. Their offense, their supporting cast is not good. Defense is solid, but is getting old. And, again, Belichick best coach in the league, but can only do so much. So I think the New England threat is eliminated. As I've mentioned, I'm feeling a huge down year for Baltimore. I think the Ravens will miss the playoffs. So that leaves, let's see, Kansas City, Pittsburgh will be a competitor, Cleveland will be a competitor, but I don't see either of those teams beating the Chiefs. So I definitely think Kansas City is going to be a top seed in the AFC. Will they be the number 1 seed? I don't know, but I definitely think they'll be a deep playoff contender, and they are very good in the playoffs. The Chiefs continue to roll, and I don't see as long as Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes stay there, I don't see any reason why the Chiefs will be as worse than they have been in previous years. I don't expect them to be quite as dominant as they were last year, but I still think they have a shot at the playoffs. So my current thinking for Super Bowl is Packers over Chiefs. But again, NFC is very tough. I think AFC is easier. I think the Chiefs certainly have the best shot, but AFC is a little bit tough. NFC. Because you got, the Packers, but you also have the Saints, the Seahawks, the Niners. But I think the Niners are going to fall off a little bit. They're going to be, you know what they remind me? They're going to be the 2018 and 2019 Chargers. They have this huge year, and then they kind of fall off in the next year and get worse and worse. I think the Niners will be solid, though. I think they're going to be a consistent 9-7, 8-8 team, but I do not expect them to be nearly as good as they were last year. So current thinking, Packers over Chiefs, but stay tuned because that might change depending on how the rest of free agency goes, as well as any injuries that may appear. All right, let's see here. Next question. Again, that came from Christian, if I didn't mention. Partially answered this in my last one. It comes from Jordan. Sent me a tweet on Twitter. What surprise teams do you think will make the playoffs? So, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm really expecting the Browns to be a big surprise team. People seem to be sleeping on them. And again, they had a great offseason. I'm pretty sure they got a new coach, too. I'm pretty sure they fired Freddie Kitchens and got Evan Stefanski or something. Or someone like that. And Baker Mayfield needed a new coach. The receiving core is still good. And a Beckham can be good. You know who Beckham reminds me of is Stephon Diggs, where they're good, but a little bit overrated, but also if they just get out of their head, they're really good. But Stephon Diggs and Beckham are such head cases, and that really distracts them from having a good performance. So I think Beckham can be good, but he needs to stop being so cocky and just play the game. You know what I'm saying? Same with Jarvis Landry. I think he's solid, but needs to stop being so cocky. But regardless, the receiving core is solid. Got Jack Conklin. Not sure if they still have Joel Bitonio, but they also got Austin Hooper. And they do have David Njoku, but he's been battling injury issues. And as I mentioned, a very underrated defense. Denzel Ward, Morgan Burnett, Myles Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi. Their defense is pretty good. So I definitely think the Browns are going to be a surprise playoff team. In terms of other surprise teams, I think that there are plenty of teams are going to make the playoffs. But in terms of teams that are surprising, in terms of teams being slept on, I'm not sure I can think of any other team that's being totally slept on. I'm trying to rattle through both conferences. I don't think I see any team that's going to be totally slept on. I would say maybe Cowboys, but I don't think they're being slept on. I think a good amount of people are hyping up the Cowboys. So I think the main team that I'm thinking of there is the Browns. Next question, let's see, comes from another Jordan. This is a different Jordan, but he's asking, do you think the Broncos will make the playoffs? Do I think they will make the playoffs? No. I think that they will be a solid team. I think they will be better than they were last year, but I do not expect them to make the playoffs. And as I have mentioned, Drew Lock is getting significantly overhyped. I don't think he's bad, and I think he could be decent, but people are hyping him up too much. Okay, I've even seen some people say that he's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes, or at least close to that, and there's just no way. Why? Because they don't really have any coach. Do they still have Vic Fangio as their coach? I'm not even sure. But regardless, I don't see that happening. But the good thing about Drew Lock, as I said, for a random rookie quarterback to come in the first year to end the season, and then at the start of the next season, they need a good supporting cast. And the Broncos supporting cast is not good, but it's not terrible. Their offense actually is pretty good besides their offensive line. Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman, and Courtland Sutton, who is incredibly underrated. So their offense is decent. Defense is solid. Von Miller, of course. They did lose Derek Wolfe, of course, went to Baltimore. Secondary, Justin Simmons is very good. But anyways, their defense is meh. They also lost Chris Harris, I think. I think Chris Harris went to the Chargers. They got Actually, I think the Broncos got Melvin Gordon. Wasn't that part of the trade? I think the Chargers sent Melvin Gordon to Denver, and the Broncos sent Chris Harris to the Chargers. I think that was the trade. But regardless, their defense is okay, and their offense is solid. So that being said, I think the Broncos will be maybe 7-9, 8-8 team. Now, I did just say I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but then I just remembered that the playoffs are slightly different this year. There's going to be a 7th seed. So do I think they'll make the playoffs? I think they'll probably come up just short. But if they made the playoffs, I would definitely bet on them being that 7th seed. A 7-9, maybe 8-8 team if I'm stretching it. So they have a shot at making the playoffs, but I don't think the Broncos will make it. But it'll be close. Next question. Let's see what other ones we have. I'm trying to look at all of them here. Alright guys, we're back. Sorry, I just had to rattle through to find the other questions here. Next question comes in from Adam Tweets. Dark horse Super Bowl team. That means similar to the question that Jordan asks, like a surprise team that could win the Super Bowl that no one is talking about. So I'm going to kind of go back to Green Bay here. They're not being slept on. Like, people are saying, okay, they're going to be a playoff. They're just going to be like a wild card team. I do think the Packers are going to be better than that, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. But I also think that they're going to be like, they're not being hyped up enough. And again, I've always thought Aaron Rodgers has been overrated, but I think that with the new coach, I shouldn't say with the new coach, a new year with Matt LaFleur and another coach, I think that they can just click more and more. And here's the thing. Mike McCarthy and Rodgers always had a hard time clicking. I think that's part of the reason why they fired him. Because if I recall correctly, I think a lot of times Mike McCarthy called a play, but like Aaron Rodgers always was audibling, and it didn't really work out so well. But LaFleur last year, they were pretty good. I do think the Packers kind of had an easy schedule, but regardless, the play calling was pretty good. And I think, again, just another year, it should just get that more experience, right? So I think the Packers, people are saying they're going to be just a playoff team. I think they're going to be more like a Super Bowl team. But in terms of other teams that could win the Super Bowl that no one is talking about, the Browns are being slept on, but they're not going to win the Super Bowl. I shouldn't say that. One team that might be good, I don't know about a Super Bowl team, is the Chargers. Why? Because first of all, they do have a good defense. I think the defense is a little bit overhyped, but it's still pretty good. They have a great running back, Austin Eckler. The only problem with Austin Eckler is he's kind of a number 2 running back. And while I don't think Melvin Gordon is that good, they might miss him a little bit. I don't know. In terms of their offensive line, they got Brian Bulaga, right? Their line is decent. Not great. They drafted Justin Herbert, but I think Tyrod Taylor is going to start. But their receiving core is excellent. Keenan Allen is so good. Mike Williams is decent and continues to improve. So the receiving core is solid. And I'm not sure if they still have Tyrell Williams. But anyways, and then we flip to the defense. Their defense is good. Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, Derwin James. Their cornerbacks are solid. Not Kevin King. Desmond King, Casey Hayward, and I'm pretty sure they got Chris Harris too. So their defense is good. And I'm pretty sure they drafted, let's see, did they draft Kenneth Murray? Is that who they drafted? I don't know, I think they drafted a linebacker, Kenneth Murray, if I recall correctly, or was it on the offense? I don't know. I'm pretty sure they drafted Kenneth Murray, if I'm getting their names right, guys. I don't follow the draft too much, so try to bear with me, but I'm pretty sure they drafted someone like that on the defensive side. So I do think the Chargers will be definitely a wild card team, because you could be, this year,
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team that goes 7-9 and makes the playoffs because of this, especially in the AFC, because the AFC is not that good, and there's a 7th seed available now. So I definitely think the Chargers have a shot at making the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Maybe they'll be like a 9-7, 10-16, but I don't expect them to go to the Super Bowl. So only team that's kind of being slept on to make the Super Bowl or at least make it to the Super Bowl, probably Green Bay. AFC, I don't think anyone's being slept on, really. I think everyone knows that the Chiefs are going to be really good, so not really being slept on. I think that's just about it. So thank you for Adam Tweets for sending that question in. Next question comes in from Matthew Rosenfeld, asking for a Jets record prediction. So let's see. Jets lost Robbie Anderson. Drafted Connor McGovern for the offensive line. Pretty sure he's a center. And I don't really follow the draft besides the Ravens, but I think the Jets drafted a couple linemen, if I recall correctly. So their offensive line was so bad last year. So that's why I've kind of been tentative to hate on Le'Veon Bell. I still think Bell is not nearly as good as people think he is. But at the same time, the offensive line was really, really bad last year. So the Jets improved the offensive line a little bit. Defense is okay, not great. Their linebacker core is good. It's C.J. Mosley and Patrick Owasso reuniting because the Jets signed Owasso from Baltimore. And they still have Jamal Adams. I'm not sure if they're going to get rid of him or not. There's been trade discussions, but they have not made any moves yet, so I'm assuming that they keep Jamal Adams. Their defense is okay. Receiving core is not great. Again, lost Robbie Anderson. They have Jamison Crowder, but he's not great. So, and Sam Darnold should improve. I still think he's a little bit overhyped too, but I think he's decent, and again, should continue to improve. But a bad head coach too. Adam Gase is not any good. So, for a record prediction, I'm going to say the Jets will be a little bit. What did they go last year? I forget. But I think the Jets will maybe be 6-10, 7-9. They should be okay, but not. I shouldn't say okay. 6-10, 7-9 is worse than okay. They should be mediocre, maybe a tad better than they were last year, though. So yeah, 6-10, 7-9 is my best pick. Is my best guess as of now. Next question. I think this might be our last one. Comes in from Owen Anastas. So we're going to kind of look at, this is not really a question, it's more of like a request. So, of course, you guys have been following the whole George Floyd thing with the whole cops, with all the cops and all that. Not going to dig into that, right? This is dedicated to football. But I was asked to kind of like take a look at some statements that came out from athletes. So, I picked two. One comes from Jamal Adams, the other one comes from Patrick Mahomes. Again, famous football athletes. So, yeah, one of them says, it's all about, we'll see. Patrick Mahomes says, first, I send prayers to the family and friends of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. As I have watched everything that has happened over the last week and even before that, I have tried to put my feelings into words. As a kid who was born with a black dad and a white mom, I have been blessed to be accepted for who I am my entire life, but that isn't the case for everyone. The senseless murders that we have witnessed are wrong and cannot continue in our country. All I can think about is how I grew up in a locker room where people from every race, every background, and every community came together and became brothers to accomplish a single goal. I hope that our country can learn from the injustices that we have witnessed to become more like the locker room where everyone is accepted. We all need to treat each other like brothers and sisters and become something better. Let's be the world where my little sister, generations to come, and even my future kids will grow up never having to experience these tragedies and instead love each other unconditionally. Love and unite. Justice for George Floyd. So as I said, that came from Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, I just was taking a look at these. Nothing really that surprising, but of course, again, comes from people who are, half as he said in this statement. So, in terms of looking at them, of course, everyone has a case. You guys know about all the protests and riots that have been going on lately. African Americans are getting fed up. So, taking a look at that, I mean, again, totally is right. We need to include everyone. We can't be segregating ourselves like I have mentioned in previous videos. So, of course, I don't want to dig too deep into the George Floyd thing because that's kind of like separate from what I like to talk about on this channel. But just something to look at. And if you guys want to find these, look at them in your own eyes. They tweeted this out. So if you do Twitter, just search up Patrick Mahomes. It should be right there, as well as Jamal Adams. He pinned his tweet, I think, looking at this. So the one that comes from Jamal Adams. Over the past few days, I've been struggling with the pain from daily injustices in America. It's something new every day. I think it is important to find your peace in all of this and remember self-care and positive energy. My heart goes out to the family and friends of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. They're more than just hashtags. It's disgusting that we don't have time to deal with our trauma before the next tragedy. We can't let these conversations die and can't forget those that we've lost. Stop killing us. This isn't just a political issue. This is about the morality of our nation. We all have a part to play. Love, Jamal. So again, similar to what Mahomes was saying, it's all about how we need to have justice and we need to be treating everyone equally, no matter the skin color. So again, that was not really a question. It's more of just like a request to look at these. So again, if you guys want to check these out, just check them out on Twitter. They tweeted both of them out. And yeah, so I think it's just a simple message. It's nothing that fancy, but it's of course based off of what happened over the last maybe a week ago. I think it was a Monday night, so that's why everyone's talking about it. So yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. So I think that is it for questions for this episode, guys. I want to thank you all so much for all the support, all the contributions. I really do appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you guys so much. Next part 4, is going to come out on, let's see, today's Wednesday. Part 4 should come out on Sunday or Monday, depending on how things go. So thank you guys so much for all the support. You're all a bunch of homies, and I'll talk to you again soon. Peace out, have a great day, and see you guys on Sunday or Monday.